No way. That was my initial reaction upon seeing how World Liberty is now supported in the Zebec Super App. Now, nothing I say is financial advice, but of course, I mean no way in a figurative sense where I just thought this was really interesting because let's keep in mind, allegedly, they do mention an aspect of USD1 enabled payroll. And keep in mind, USD1, of course, is World Liberty stablecoin. So I think this right here is pretty interesting. So for the people out there that like to tell me, oh, the super app is cooked, no one cares about it, it's done for, it was just done for marketing. I kind of disagree with that because as of right now, we're beginning to see kind of the pieces fall into place in a sense where we're kind of seeing this super app being treated seriously. And I do like that because, of course, one of the major aspects when it comes to the super app is an aspect of payrolls. So I do find this to be really interesting in my opinion. Now, is USD1 the most popular out there of all time? No, of course, something like USDC or whatever is just way more popular, but at the same time, it's the thought that counts, in my opinion. When I take a look at something like this, I just find it really cool and really interesting because a lot of people out there thought that Zebec wasn't going to be doing anything anymore, basically, when it comes to Super App. But here they are, doing things, and I like that. Other projects out there, they give updates, but it's all talk. We don't really see the results. We don't really see the action sometimes. Now, is this quote-unquote action when it comes to Zebec really translating to the price charts? Not too much. I mean, it's still down by quite a lot, but still, in the past 24 hours, around a 3% recovery. So at least I think this recent update did bring a little bit more of a better sentiment when it comes to Zebec. But of course, it can't really change in a drastic way without the altcoin space having a drastic change either. However, at least I think this right here is a right step in the right direction in terms of Zebec, fundamentally speaking. Now, keep in mind, when Zebec actually does things and they actually put it into action, that I think kind of showcases the contrast, or should I say a contrast, when compared to other projects out there that don't really focus on delivering. They don't really focus on doing things. They focus more so on just random updates that make no sense. But when I take a look at Zebec doing this right here, I think it showcases that the team probably treats the project seriously. Other projects out there feels like the team is treating it like a part-time thing, and maybe it is, but when it comes to Zebec, just the things they're doing gives me off the vibe that they're actually treating it very seriously and treating it like a full-time thing. So I do really like seeing this. However, keep in mind when it comes to Zebec, they say that this is not April Fool's. Of course, why would they make a joke out of this? It just makes no sense. So I like this right here. And also at the same time, when I take a look at Zebec overall, I think when people like to tell me this is not really important, well, let's just take this into consideration. ZBCN has around 100,000 holders now. So can you imagine that? Actually, it increased a little bit ever since my last video, which is very surprising. In my last video, I was talking about ZBCN and had around 96,000 holders. Now it's actually around 100,000. So I'm assuming at least around 100,000 individuals actually do care about updates and stuff like that when it comes to Zebec. And again, that's very surprising. Now, sometimes these places, when they calculate the amount of holders, sometimes it could fluctuate a lot, but as far as I can see, ZBCN has almost 100,000 holders as of right now, around 99,500. Pretty impressive, again, considering how in my last video there was just around 96,000 holders. Maybe it didn't update at that time, but still, if that increase in the amount of holders was actually not a glitch or anything, if it's actually really the case, I do find it to be pretty interesting. And if that is maybe the case, actually, I think just this news right here, it may have had an impact on that, if that is the case. Now, again, I just want to clarify, sometimes it's going to be a little bit different when the video comes out and the amount of holders. Sometimes the numbers could change, but if, let's say, again, that increase right there by around 3,000 in terms of the amount of holders from my last video till right now, if that is actually the case, then again, I think this recent World Liberty being supported in the Zebec Super App, I think might showcase a little bit as to the after effects of that and what that maybe did to the amount of holders of ZBCN. But besides that point though, ZBCN, can you imagine, despite all this, right? with almost around 100,000 holders. With Zebec, we take a look at the partnership with World Liberty. Furthermore, we take a look at the partnership that Zebec has with Algorand. Zebec accomplishing ISO 20022 compliance. Zebec having backers like OKX Ventures, Coinbase Ventures, Solana Ventures, and also on top of that, even Circle, the creator of USDC. With all of that right there, and on top of that, again, with already the launch of the super app, it's actually over 2 times lower in terms of market cap when compared to where it was at one point last year. Kind of ridiculous for me to think about. So, if anything, I feel like the project fundamentally became better, but the charts are lower. I mean, how does that make sense in some cases in real life? But apparently, that's what I'm seeing. So, when I take a look at that right there, am I going to complain? No, sir, I'm not going to complain because my intent is the dollar cost average. The project that I'm a fan of hypothetically became cheaper, yet the fundamentals became better. So why would I complain? But even besides that point, though, could I know when the market would ever wake up? No, there's no way I would know that. I can't control anything. But there's one thing I can control, and that's my dedication, and that's what I'm going to continue to do, even though I don't have to. Keep in mind, I do not have to believe in Zebec. It is not a requirement for me. This is just personally voluntary because I'm just a fan of the project. I like the aspect of Solana when it comes to Zebec. And also, furthermore, I seem to like the strides they're making, fundamentally speaking, as of late. Keep in mind, Zebec's closest competitor called Onyx, I feel like as of late hasn't been making the strides that Zebec has been making, which I think may have resulted in ZBCN holding up a lot better when compared to Onyx. Let me explain what I mean by this. Last year, we do know that ZBCN reached around a 500 million market cap, but XCN, or should I say Onyx, last year reached a market cap of around $1 billion. So that's around double of what ZBCN reached last year. Now here's the thing. What's holding up better as of right now? It's actually ZBCN. ZBCN's current market cap is over 200 million. We take a look at XCN, for instance. It's not too close to that, actually. It's under 200 million in terms of market cap as of right now. So when I take a look at that right there, XCN, despite reaching greater heights last year, it's actually lower than ZBCN as of right now, which I think may have showcased just kind of the strides that Zebec is making, even at a time when the market isn't doing the best. But at the same time, ZBCN with way less holders than XCN, actually, if I take a look at it, ZBCN has around 40,000 less holders than XCN, but still, even despite that, holding up a little bit better. I think doing a lot more fundamentally as of late in terms of the strides they're making. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a fan of Onyx because it is a project that pretty much is focused on global trade finance, more or less much like Zebec. But if I take a look at that right there, even though Onyx has had more historical popularity than something like Zebec, ZBCN's been holding up a little bit better. But still, I want to be a fan of Onyx because of its historical notoriety, because it has a lot of holders. I still want to focus on it because of that, but I can't deny that Zebec seems to be doing a little bit more, fundamentally speaking, at least as of late. So when I take a look at that right there, I just see no reason for me to give up as of right now. I mean, I could, but I just don't want to because I still like the project overall. However, I did think this update was really cool and really interesting because if I take a look at that right there, Zebec and the things they're doing with World Liberty, wow. I mean, my initial reaction was no way when I saw this update, but apparently it is the case because we already know what Zebec did with World Liberty not too long ago, the partnership they had, but now again, actually having World Liberty being supported in the Zebec Super App, that's just another milestone in my opinion. It's another, I guess, accomplishment for the resume, I suppose. However, I'll be sure to make more updates moving forward, so hopefully y'all stay tuned for that. I just want to say thank you for watching. It's been Lee the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.